to do all the like it's okay. And by the way, so because you've done podcasts before, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That everything's fine. Whatever happens here, like we can let it stay here, meaning our podcast editor will edit things out. So if you need to stop,
Great.
that's totally fine. We can do that. Yeah. So I think we're all set. I've got kind of my notes. I keep notes in front of me. And if you see me looking
Great.
down, sometimes I make some notes as we're kind of going along. I'm just going to take a sip of water and get my glasses clean because I didn't do that before. I also had, which is highly unusual, in between the background of just preparing for this, I was getting my teenager out the door because he was going to school late because they were doing testing for the juniors.
Yeah.
So he had a whole morning off. So he went out to play golf with a friend of his, which is fine. But I'm like, you just came back at the time I need to do my podcast. And you can't be like running around me,
Like
making
roaming
noise,
around. Yeah.
shutting the door. I said, this, we can't have that. So anyway,
Yep.
I literally just minutes before I came in, I was like, you need to go get yourself the
Go
sandwich,
eat.
eat before school, but downtown because we can't do it here today.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get going. I think we're going to go for just about like, I kind of figured it'll be about 30 minutes
Okay, great.
and hopefully there won't be any interruptions. I left my dog outside, so I'm hoping that's okay. But if it gets crazy, sometimes he does go after the Amazon guy if he comes near the door. I'm
I can
really
relate.
hoping
Yeah.
he won't do that today. But all right, so here we go. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Parenting Reset Show. So today on the podcast, we have Jessica Etting, and she is the founder of JAM, which is I'm going to let her explain it a little bit more, but it's an AI online family organizer. And I'm really excited to talk with you, Jessica, today about this. And I want to hear more about how it came to be, but welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Excellent. Okay. So tell us a little bit, because I didn't give the audience a ton in the intro. I want to hear more, and let's tell the audience a little bit about what JAM is and what you're going to be talking with us today about.
Sure. So, as you mentioned, JAM is an all-in-one AI-supported family calendar and organization app. It combines scheduling and driving and things that need to get done, to-do lists, shopping lists, all in one very easy to use interface, whether you can use it on your phone or a tablet or your computer, wherever you like to see all of that information.
Mm-hmm.
And I know sometimes we're, on the go adding things to our calendar, and sometimes we're, at home just putting in a million dates because that's how things go in family life. Really, the truth about me is I'm a mom. I've got 3 kids, and I was not in software before this. I actually come from the entertainment industry. So 20 years of being a working mom there. And one day my sister, who is in software, came to me, and she had just had her second child. And look, as working moms, we were very familiar with that kind of day in, day out, who's going where, who needs a ride, what has to get done, what has to get bought before tomorrow, that mental load that is just a ticker tape in our head constantly. And she said, where's the app for that, right? Like, my kids are a little older than hers. So she thought, I must have the skinny on some app that we're all using that would help her and her husband get more on the same page and be able to delegate things better and know what's happening next. And I said to her, I don't think it exists. I've been looking for one for years. And the more that we started talking to our friends and school parents and soccer parents and coworkers, the more we realized, wow, everybody is just flying by the seat of their pants. Even the people who think they have a system, we're like, oh, well, what happens then? They're like, oh, our system falls apart when that happens. So everybody really felt like, yes, this is a lot of chaos and a lot of mental load, typically falling on one partner's shoulders, usually mom, to the point where it was leading to a lot of overwhelm and anxiety and burnout. And I 100% felt that as well. So we said, hey, we see this as a huge problem. we think we have, the skills where we could really create the tool that we wish we had. And so we built Jam as really a way to help families everywhere, but also to help ourselves as working moms too.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you so much. That puts it all in a nutshell, right? About what
yeah.
this is. So you're coming from a very different background. You said you haven't been in tech. I agree with you that as a working, and I'm a single parent. Oh my, organization is so important. And I'm at the place, like with a tween or having younger kids, it's a little different. You are managing their schedules. Right now, I've got a sophomore, and I'm really trying to balance him taking over and doing his own calendar, teaching him the calendar, teaching him how to keep track. I've even said to him today as he went out the door, please get in touch with your math tutor to coordinate the time for tonight,
That's right.
right? That's going to be, and I had been doing it, but I'm letting it go. And worst case scenario is, you know, he doesn't coordinate with him, he forgets,
Right.
and then we'll have
They'll
to
figure
figure
it
out.
out. Right.
He'll figure it out. But yeah, for all of us though, all of us as parents, we're trying to hold so much. It does tend to come. I do agree with you. It tends to be on the shoulders of the mom. That's what
Hmm.
I have typically noticed as well
Hmm.
in my own family, but also with friends. And
Hmm.
so I want to hear more about the details of Jam and like, what exactly does it look like?
Yeah.
Is it? I'm guessing it's an app, and how do families use it? And one of the most important things for this, particularly for this podcast, is I know parents want to know, like, yes, this is going to be a great resource, but how will it help the connection with our kids,
Yep.
with our relationship with them? And
Yep.
that's why when we talked ahead of time, I thought this is a great resource to be able to, the opportunity to bring to parents for them to know about and change some things. So you get this foundation where things are kind of organized in terms of scheduling, activities, shopping, everything, so that you have more time to kind of pay attention to the things that really do matter, which is the relationship, the connection you have with your child. And then as they get older, and like what I'm doing, I'm trying to now have my child move into organizing his own schedule and practicing that here while he's at home.
That's right. You're trying to pass that baton, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm so happy you're bringing up your son. So I have tweens and teens at
Mhm.
home, and so I'll speak to that first. It was really important in creating Jam that
Mhm.
we have permission so that your kids, whether they're what we call big kids, which is more, maybe let's call it 7 to 11, teens, 12 and up, could
Mhm.
really use and access the system in the ways that you want them to. Maybe your younger kids, like you said, you're managing most of it. They can just see what they have going on, but they're not editing their events.
Yes.
But as a teenager, 100%, we want them to start becoming
Mhm.
more proactive about what they have and also understanding as part of a family unit, oh, I better put that on a calendar because otherwise somebody might schedule something else for me at that time. Mom and dad might think this, or my mom might not realize she's dropping me off at that time and she's got a meeting. So to be able to understand that we all work together as a
Mhm.
team and it's not
Yeah.
just, what they have going on their calendar that day.
Yeah.
So I'll dig a little deeper into what we do at Jam and
Okay.
then kind of explain how that does lead to more connection. So with Jam, first of all, we have calendars. And yes, I
Mhm.
know people have their Google calendars or their iCal calendars. Here's what makes the Jam calendars different. They were actually engineered and designed by two moms, by the way, for
Mhm.
families. Everybody gets a color. Everybody gets a column. When you create an event, you can tag who is going. Is it
Mhm.
the whole family? Is it one family member? Is it two family members? Who's driving? And if it's one of the adults in the family, they get tagged. It goes straight into their calendar, so they cannot miss it. You can even put in the amount of driving time if you want to really put that in. It even has fields for what to bring or what needs to get done ahead of time. So again, when we're talking about tweens and teens and starting to empower them, my 10-year-old son can look and see, oh, I have this event, I have my soccer practice, or I have, and right there listed in the event is what needs to get brought. So he can pack his own bag without saying, what do I need? What do I this? What time does it start? He can look himself and be empowered with all of that information. And that's obviously, as parents, what we're trying to help our kids understand with, responsibility and just a little bit
Mhm.
of executive functioning as well. Um, in addition, we have lists, so to-do lists. They can be recurring, so some people use those as chore lists, some things that kids need to do every day or every week or once a month, or even just daily habits too, right?
Mhm.
In terms of hygiene and just habits we might want to
Yeah.
instill in our kids or ourselves for that matter. I also love seeing, I have found teens and tweens, but teens really take the baton on this. They love making their own to-do list. Oh,
Mhm.
here's everything I need to get done for, my summer camp counselor applications, and I'm going to put it all on this list and check the things off. They love using it, and they love it because they can make their own list, but when their parents are able to see it too and see that they checked off two things, they're like, oh, wow, my parents can see this. And they said, oh, good job. I saw you check those things off. And it kind of eliminates some of that like nag. Hey, did you do that? I said I did it. It eliminates some of that kind of like nagging back and forth. And then finally, we also have shopping lists. And for me, my middle son, he's 13, he
Mhm.
loves to cook, and he started cooking family dinners for us some night. And so I love that he's able to add to our shopping list. What are we going to cook this week? Let's get it in there. In addition, what are we missing for lunches? Him and my 10-year-old still get lunches packed for them many days a week. Like,
Mhm.
I can't always stay on top of, we're missing your favorite item. Put it in. It really is a team effort. And so those are kind of all different ways that I'm constantly every day helping my kids improve their responsibility and really understanding of being part of a team. Now, where does that help with the connectivity? First of all, I can't tell you how much of our day used to be just back and forth information exchange about logistics, right? After
Mhm.
this, you're going to do this, and then this is going to be, and you start kind of missing out on those
Mhm.
moments of what else, the other things that are probably things you would more like to speak to your kids about, or that maybe they would like to speak to you about, but you're so busy rattling off the list of everything they need to do that day that they don't even get a chance to kind of comment to you. So I love that this all lives in one place. It kind of like
Mhm.
sets everybody's mind at ease. Hey, it's all there. We can all see it. So we don't need to be rattling things off right now. We can use these 5 or 10 minutes, or when we sit down for dinner, it doesn't need to be information exchange. We can check our jam together afterwards. And right now we can just say, how was your day? We don't need
Yes.
to worry about what's happening tomorrow.
Right. That is, thank you. You summarized it really well here of everything that's in there. And I've got a couple questions, but
Yeah,
this is an app that where you can, it sounds like everyone in the family can use. So I could see this
that's right.
being really helpful for just a family like mine where it's mom and son,
Yep.
or it's family of three and mom and dad, or whoever's in the family, everyone's putting their information there. So there's a lot of amazing pieces here, and I love that it was created by two busy moms, like we
Yeah.
all are. So that's wonderful. And there's multiple things I wanted to check in about. One of the things I wanted to point to that you just said, and this is the piece that I'm thinking about for my audience listening here, is that having structures, whether it's things we built in at home. And I got to tell you, I
Hmm.
remember, and this was a while ago, but having the daily habits thing, I would have my then 10, 11-year-old, like we have a quick little list, and it was on like the whiteboard in the kitchen,
Right.
like that kind of thing, of like
Yes,
trying to help him implement habits of just the morning, right? The morning routine. What do you
that's
do?
right.
You got to brush. What am I doing now? Okay, then I got to get help make my lunch, like whatever it
Right.
is, right? Those basic kind of stuff they're needing to do in late elementary, early middle
Yes,
school. We're trying to build that place where they can kind of take more responsibility. They feel good about themselves. And the
absolutely.
other piece you mentioned is we are doing, and I truly believe this, and it gets a lot of parents as we get older, with the kids getting older, we're getting older too. But it is always this, we have these, a lot of our conversations, a lot of our communication is about following up. How did you do on that math test? Oh, what happened? Wait a minute, where are you going after school today? It's just kind of that daily, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm just going to put this out. It's something that I really pay attention to in my own family, is I want to pull myself out of the constant, we call it nagging, but it's kind of that day to day practical stuff. And then
Yes,
that's all we're talking to and especially I've got a sophomore, a 16-year-old, talking to him
yes.
about like, how you feeling about whatever it is? I was something else, right?
Hmm.
He plays golf and kind of where he's at with that, but kind of some of the larger issues of wanting to have
Right.
other conversations rather than us always correcting, constantly moving them in a way. And we're focused on homework and we're focused on get to bed on time. Did you sleep enough? Did you eat enough nutrients? Like,
Yep.
and this just gets to
So
be this
what's
kind of,
next? What's next?
what else
Yeah.
are we can we talk about? And having this kind of app, and I have not tried this, but I'm really looking forward to trying it, and having everything in one place where it takes you, it's just the same thing as I talk to parents about all the time about getting out of the role of screen time police. Do you know what I mean? Getting
Yes.
out of that constant, you pull yourself out as they get older. You're not going to be doing this when they're 8 years old, but when
Right.
they are 12, 13, 14, for sure, you are removing yourself a little bit of
Yeah.
getting out of the policing kind of constant role. And I could see this app um, doing some of that where it's kind of built in. It could be kind of fun. It teaches them ways to
Hmm.
keep track. Like I don't know if my son would jump on board with making his own checklist, but I will tell you that if as we start using it, he will and he's getting there. I could see probably a lot more girls his age probably using this. Just it's just the nature of kind of I think where he's at as a young male. But all of this sounds amazing and I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I did have a question like as
Yes.
other families, right? I'm using Google Calendar. I have it
Yes.
for my business. I have it
Yes.
for our home life and it is color coded to the nth degree because I need
Yes.
that. And then I also keep a paper calendar, which I know is
Yeah.
old school, but it opens up. I need to see my color. I'm visual. I just need to see it on
Yeah.
paper. And then I also have it on Google. How does this coordinate with other calendars that parents already have? Because if you think about like, oh my God, I have to set up another calendar. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be
Of course.
outrageous, but how does it
No, it
coordinate with
sounds
this?
like so much work, all
It
right? And
does.
that was,
Yes.
listen, that's where it's great that we were two moms who created it. Everything had to pass
Yes.
our test. Is it easy enough? Is it fast enough? Is it
Yeah.
intuitive enough?
Right.
So first of all, of course, people have other calendars they've already been using, or maybe they're using Google for their work calendar. And so all of those calendars, Google and Outlook and
Mhm.
iCal, those can all sync right into your Jam, or you can import all the events from them into your Jam too. So that takes about 1 minute, and we have instructions that walk you through it right when you sign
Mhm.
up. So it those integrations are really easy. Um, we also connect with public calendars. So, for example, sometimes schools put out a public calendar
Mhm.
with the whole schedule
Yes.
that they're updating all year, or it's really common with sports. So, like Team Snap, Game Changer, right? Those all sync right into your Jam, and you can assign which family member it's for. Okay, the soccer
Mhm.
Team Snap is for my son Archie, and the volleyball one is for my son
Mhm.
Sawyer. So,
Yeah.
again, I think what we kind of realized is that sure, there's lots of tools out there, but
Mhm.
none of them are really talking to each other. So we wanted to create the hub where everything could go into, where it would
Yeah.
look really clean, and where, yes, your teenager or your kid could also have access to it in a way where they're not going to mess everything up. Because I definitely was not letting my 10-year-old onto my iCal, but he's on Jam all day long with us and seeing what he's got going on. So, and we also have, which we use, but is really helpful for a lot of families, is our caregiver feature where
Mhm.
whether it's a nanny or it's a neighbor or it's a grandma, whoever, a babysitter,
Mhm.
where certain schedules I can share with the caregiver, certain lists. And so again, it's just one of those things. Where did that used to live before? A long text chain.
Mhm.
Oh, can you remember this and remember that? And that's very taxing on the brain, and a lot of things fall through the cracks. And so we really, to your point about being visual, I wanted a
Mhm.
place where I could see everything, not
Right.
just my calendar, not just what I had to get done, but every single thing that pertained to our family really
Mhm.
in one spot.
Okay. That's great. I mean, it is amazing. And I wanted to note as well, you mentioned earlier, I love that it also has like what to bring. Like what
Yes.
else you need to bring because there's always and I make note of those things or even I use them all the time, but I got my, Post-it notes. I'm always
Yes.
Post-it notes like all over the place. I still feel like I'm sometimes just maybe it's my generation where I'm at. I'm still in between, all everything online, and also I need to also be holding a book, holding a Post-it note, holding an actual list when I walk into Trader Joe's, because pulling up my thing and then I don't know, something pops up and I'm somewhere else on my phone. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like, I love
I do.
having
I
sometimes the
listen,
actual
I
paper.
feel you. I love taking notes during a meeting with a pen and
Yes.
paper. The shopping list, I'm a convert. I love checking things off in Jam when I'm at the store. And I also love when I send my husband to the store. I can literally watch on Jam. I'm like, oh, good. He found that, garlic I didn't think he was able to find. I can watch as the things are getting
Oh
checked
my
off.
gosh, that's
It's,
amazing. You can watch in real time.
I can
I
watch
think
in real time.
okay, that would be so satisfying. So right there, just I mean, I love that. I do love it.
Yes.
And I think it would be great also to just note as we're raising our tweens and teens, and I'm gonna have my son put on some of his like all of his golf tournaments. And
Yes.
he's really pretty good about keeping it in his head about what he needs to bring. But
Right.
it's this way he can put it there. I can see he's following it and he's all set because sometimes he's actually going to some of these things and I'm not even around. Like he comes home, does it,
That's right.
and he's on his own and someone else is
And he
driving
needs,
him.
right.
Yeah.
And
So
he needs all
that's
that
great.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say is that because we are AI supported, so we have some
Mhm,
cool features that other calendars don't have that I think
mhm,
really again help lessen that mental load, probably on mom, and help get the whole family on the same page when you are trying to pass that baton. So, for example, we have a feature where you can just forward things to Jam and we get it on the calendar for you. So let's say your son is going to be part of a golf tournament, you got some email about it, you need to be here at this time, and you need to check in here, and you need to send your birth certificate in, or whatever the things are. There's always a million instructions.
mhm.
You just forward that to Jam. It gets on the calendar. Hey, here's what you need to do ahead of time. It said you needed to sign this waiver, and it said you needed to purchase a blah, blah, blah. And it's all in there with just a simple forward.
Okay.
So again, pressure off mom, everybody can see
Excellent.
what's going on, and
Yeah.
everyone can be empowered to be responsible in that moment.
That is that's amazing right there. I mean, right? Everyone being empowered to be responsible and just also just learn how to pay attention to your own lives given where they're at and what they can do at that
Right.
time. It'll be different of course if they're 11 versus a 16-year-old. I did have a question for you that I think parents may wonder about. I'm already wondering about it when all like let's just say there's 5 family members, 6 whatever it is or even 2.
Hmm.
Privacy. What about
Hmm.
privacy? And like there's certain things, I mean, I have my own calendars that
Yes,
I don't wanna share with my son,
that's
like,
right.
just he's not gonna wanna know when I'm cold dipping. He just doesn't or when I'm doing my Orange Theory class or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I'd like to have it
I
all
absolutely
I
know.
like my
Yes,
personal, my
yes,
family, and then I also even have my work and my business.
that's
These
right.
are all multiple areas of my life all in one. So,
Yes.
let's talk about privacy.
Let's talk about it. I was with you. That 100% is why my kids weren't on my other calendars before, because I don't need them knowing every single thing I have going on.
Yeah,
And so we have permissions with Jam. You can pick, is your kid a little
okay.
kid, a big kid, a teen, a caregiver, and that limits what they can see. You can also even filter out specific calendars. Like, I don't want them to see this one, but I do
Okay.
want them to see this one so they know like where I am,
Yeah,
at this time.
yeah,
You can also with your lists, like I have my own private to-do list that's
okay.
just mine. No one else in the
Yeah,
family can see it. Maybe I'm buying gifts for people. Maybe it's just my
yeah.
own personal, things I know I need to
Mhm.
get
Yeah.
done. And then I have our shared family list. That's more about the tasks that we all need to be delegating to one another to like keep our house running every single day. We
Mhm.
also have secret shopping lists. So everything can kind of be customized of you as the parent can decide which things, which lists, which events, which calendars do you want your kids to see and which ones are off limits for them.
Okay. That is great because I know that would be definitely an issue with families as kids are growing up,
Yeah, and
not
it's
wanting
a
them to
really
see everything.
common,
Yeah.
right, it's a really common question we get
Yeah.
asked too all the time because obviously, even to your point, you might even choose to share different information depending on how old your kids are. Your 16-year-old, yeah, I want him to know my whole work schedule because he's picking up his little brother,
Yeah.
and your 9-year-old, not so much. So,
Exactly. Okay, so this is amazing, right? So how I just want to ask, how do people get this? What do we need to do?
Sure. So you can find us in the App Store, the Google
Okay.
Play Store, online, Jam Family Calendar. You can go to our website, which is just jamfamilycalendar.com. If you
Okay.
want to see a little bit more, our website's a great place to start, or you can, check us out on Instagram too. Again, at Jam Family Calendar, see a little bit more the way the features work. And we do a 30-day free trial. So we want people to try it. We want you to see, like, does this work for us? Do we love it? Before you decide to move forward with us.
Okay. And I'm just curious, what is your price point for this?
Yeah, so it's a subscription. So again, we
Okay.
have the 30 days free, and we're also running a special right now for spring and summer. You
Mhm.
can put in the code JAM20 and get
Okay.
20% off. So typically it's $9.99 a month, but with this,
Okay.
it is 20% off.
Oh,
So it becomes
excellent. Okay.
$7.99 a month. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. I think that's reasonable. I had no idea what this kind of service would be. I
Right.
mean
And I
everything
do
on
want to
yeah.
mention that covers your whole family too. So it's because
Okay.
that's always the next question. We're not expecting that then your child or your partner is having to purchase their own as well. Everybody goes under the umbrella. And I also really do, you were talking about how this could work for different types of families. And I just want to say that was so important for us. I think what we've
Mhm.
realized from talking to so many families,
Yeah.
every family is unique. Every family is a little
Mhm.
bit different. And we wanted a system that could work with all types so that every family could, function the
Yes.
way they want to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to getting it. And I like that you just said it too. You get on these apps and then what I'm finding is I get connected and I love the new app. I've got a new one for my business and it keeps
Hmm.
track of all my taxes and everything. But then I'm like, I need to upgrade to get the actual one thing that I really would like. And you have to. I'm already in it. And so
That's
then
right.
there's upgrades that are just significantly higher.
Right.
And it does that piece just drives me nuts with
I
all the apps.
I
Right.
totally hear you on that, and that some people had even mentioned, oh, what if you did one? And I said, no.
Yeah.
When you subscribe, you get everything with us.
Yeah.
There's no teaser, so you get the whole thing, all the shebang, the sending in the events, all of it, with your whole family.
Excellent. Okay. I want to ask, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about that we haven't talked about yet with this app?
Um, I guess one thing that I love talking about in terms of jam
Mhm.
is really kind of diving in just a little bit more on that mental load, emotional side of things,
Okay.
because we did talk a little bit about that tracking and the way that that can impact our relationships, but I think it also just impacts our own mental health as
Yeah.
moms and parents as well. It stops us from being present in the moment. But I think that feeling where it's all on my shoulders, it's all in my
Yeah.
brain, there's so much coming at me every single day
Mhm.
is just so debilitating. And I think what I've realized so much in the last, 2 years working
Mhm.
with Jam is everybody feels like that, and
Yeah.
people aren't really talking about it so much. Even when you first start talking, a lot of times families or parents, "Oh, yeah, yeah, no, we got it. And then you really have to dig a little deeper to get to that point of, no, I'm so overwhelmed. No, this is so
Yeah.
hard. No, we left the house 5 days last week without the things that we needed to leave the house with. And so I just think the more that we can accept that, you know what, everybody is struggling with this and we're
Mhm.
all looking for solutions, but that it is just also tough and that's okay. I think that's really been our biggest takeaway of the last 2 years of like people have a lot of shame around this and we really shouldn't. It is hard and no one is perfect.
Right. Yep. I couldn't agree with you more about the mental and emotional load. And we don't think about it and we don't even acknowledge it that much
Right.
with ourselves and even it may get acknowledged inside the family like, "Oh my, I mean, I know I have like I am just I'm the one like I'm doing this
Yeah.
much more with a 16-year-old where I'm like I need to hand this off. Like I have
Yeah.
this and this going on. I need to hand this off. You're at this age where you can do this. It's going to feel a little different, but handing off and letting go of some things. So I don't have a
Yes.
partner here to hand everything over to. So I'm doing that. And then I'm looking, of course, where my son is developmentally. Is he, is he able to kind of do that and take on that? And the answer is yes, which it is more and more so at
Every
16.
day.
It wasn't at 11, right? Then take it
Absolutely.
over.
Yeah.
But there is tons of that where I think depend and also I think it depends on kind of where you live and what your culture and your
Hmm.
your community where you live. But
Hmm.
I live in Northern California, just north of San Francisco. Everybody here is people are going and moving and working, and there's extracurricular activities constantly with kids. You know what I mean? So it's a constant, and
Yes.
it really does take its toll. We don't often stop to say, wait a minute, is there a way that I can kind of do this differently so I don't have to
Yes.
hold everything?
Yes.
And the holding of everything, keep remembering this, remembering that, just really that is where that's where the overwhelm is, right? Just
A
holding all
hundred
of it.
percent. And I
Yeah.
think you're so right. Learning how to relinquish it then as they get older and which pieces to relinquish when,
When
I think is another big piece of parenthood that people don't talk about
I
enough.
know. I know. I mean, I do. I talk with parents because I'm in the world of parent coaching. I'm talking to them
Right.
about it. But yes, in just general, drop
Yes.
off circles or whatever, we're
Right.
not always talking about, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. This mental load of holding everything for
Hmm.
the 2 or 3 kids I have. Like,
Hmm.
here is
Yes.
your app here, the Jam Family. Is it Jam Family app
Jam family calendar. Yes.
calendar? Okay. I want to get that right. It's going to help. It's going to help to reduce hopefully some mental load, feel better a little emotionally, and know that
Yes.
the more we can kind of keep our families organized right from the ground up, right? The schedule and what
Right.
we're doing every day and how we're doing it, can really benefit our connections and relationships with our kids overall.
I could not agree more. And
Yeah.
as a mom of sons as well, I love
Yeah.
that I'm teaching my boys this and to
Hmm.
really understand that things don't happen magically in our
Yeah.
home. And when they have a home and are adults one day, they will be responsible for doing things as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I have one last question for you, Jessica.
Sure.
What are you grateful for?
Oh, great question. I mean, obviously, my number one answer every day is my family,
Mhm.
not just my kids, but my extended family,
Yeah.
which I just have such a great network in my hometown of aunts and uncles and cousins and people to really rely on.
Mhm.
Um, and it's definitely the top thing I'm grateful for all the time.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you for this family resource. I'm really excited to go check it out and start using it.
Thanks so much for having me today.